The man in a hurry. King Charles II rushes to make a mark. Welcome to Royal Family Lud, my channel. Charles has spent his first 6 months as king, having waited over 74 years to ascend to the throne, to meet with religious leaders around the nation, rearrange royal homes, make his first official visit abroad, and have a sleepover at Windsor Castle with the England soccer team's coach. Then came the big news. He allowed scholars looking into the crown's ties to slavery access to the royal archives. Royal historian Robert Lacey said, "We are already shocked by the Prince Charles who was transformed into King Charles and who we still name Prince Charles, since that's how we think of him. But in reality, he has ascended to the throne more quickly than anyone anticipated." Thank you. Please subscribe to my channel. With only a few weeks until the coronation, Charles and the Buckingham Palace machine are working non-stop to portray the new monarch in action. And as he works to streamline the monarchy and demonstrate that it is still relevant in a contemporary multicultural country where veneration for Queen Elizabeth II muffled criticism throughout her 70 years on the throne, the public is witnessing a new type of sovereign. The matronly propriety that marked Elizabeth's reign is gone. A more humane monarch has replaced the previous one, who refrained from crying as he addressed the nation following the loss of his mother, and who once had a mini tantrum after getting ink on his fingers while signing a book in Northern Ireland. The crowd laughed heartily. The king now travels with his own pen to sign urgent documents. King Charles visited a Gurdwara, or Sikh place of worship, at Luton, about 30 miles, 50 kilometers, northwest of London, while Elizabeth made her way grandly through meetings with subjects who bowed and curtsied before her. In a speech to the German Parliament's Bundestag during his first state visit, Obama demonstrated the ability to correctly roll his R's while switching between German and English. Germans found it impressive. Brits were taken aback. He can speak German, who knew? It appears as though Charles, who has been mocked for being old and stiff, has just entered the space. His personality is beginning to emerge, however subtly, as evidenced by the frequently changing pocket squares that add a pop of color to his conventional suits. According to Lacey, author of Battle of Brothers, William and Harry and the Inside Story of Family in Tumult, Charles, the monarch, with his faults and virtues, has become a subject of more genuine interest. What kind of pocket tissue is he planning to use? Maybe this will replace the Queen's purse in popularity. Charles may be ready to start because he understands he won't have much time to leave his imprint. During a black-tied dinner at the presidential residence in Berlin, the man who had to wait a lifetime to become king made a passing reference to the passage of time by expressing his hope that he and Camilla would live long enough to return and see the sapling they had just planted blossom into a tree. However, there are impending obstacles, some connected to family history and others to the past. Some believe Charles' promise of transparency on the crown's ties to slavery fell short of his attempt to get ahead of the historical debate. The king ought to apologize, according to Laura Trevelyan, whose ancestors held at least 1,000 people in slavery on the island of Grenada. The Times of London quoted her as saying, "I hope that he will use some of the wealth that the royal family accumulated from the slave trade to better the lives of people in the Caribbean and in Britain who are descended from the enslaved." Next comes family. Prince Harry has continued to criticize Charles in his memoir Spare, which depicted his father as cold and uncaring toward a son who was still reeling from the death of his mother, Princess Diana, and who later had to fight for the royal family to accept his biracial American bride, Meghan. Hugo Vickers, a royal historian and the author of Coronation, The Crowning of Elizabeth II, likened the new monarch's ascension to the throne to being appointed chairman of a major firm at a time when most people are in their 60s. In addition to managing the royal household and mediating family disputes, this position will need him to deal with issues relating to politics, the military, and religion. Charles, who turned 75 in November, was quoted by Vickers as saying, "It's a tremendous thing to take on at his age. So yeah, I believe he is a man on the go." In contrast to his mother, who was only 25 when she became queen, Charles may have an edge due to his lengthy apprenticeship because it has given him greater training and life experience. Charles was sent off to Hill House School in London soon before the age of 8 to start experiencing life outside of the palace, unlike Elizabeth, who, like all British monarchs before her, received his education from tutors. Charles attended Hill House with Richard Townend, who is the founder of the institution. According to Townend, his father founded the school as a reaction to what he had witnessed while serving in the military. He believed that by teaching children about various cultures, they would be less likely to go to war as adults. He intended to create a school where half the students were not English speakers, which was rather unusual compared to other schools at the time. Townend said, "They came from all over the world, so the kids could learn to live with each other, different nationalities, different people, different colors, different races, different religions," they explained. He fervently believed that the world would only improve if kids learned to live in harmony with one another. Charles eventually graduated with a history degree from Cambrige University and served in the Royal Navy for 6 years before retiring to concentrate on his responsibilities as the heir to the throne. He established charities as Prince of Wales, one of which aids young people in obtaining employment, education, and training. He launched an organic food business and dabbled in city development. Charles was a pioneer in the causes of environmental preservation and protection. However, he raised eyebrows when he pushed government ministers and spoke out against initiatives that he believed harmed Britain's historic architecture, leading to accusations that he had broken the rule prohibiting royals from interfering in politics. The largest controversy in Charles' life, however, was the dissolution of his marriage to Princess Diana, amid rumors of his protracted connection with Camilla Parker Bowles, who would later become his second wife. Many people still recall Charles' admission of infidelity and the tapes of their private chats, including one in which he likened himself to a tampon, that were leaked. Many people took time to warm up to Camilla, and it took Charles a long time to get over the breakup of his first marriage. Harry wrote angrily about the palace's efforts to improve Camilla's reputation in Spare, alleging that negative and false tales about him were provided to the media in exchange for more glistening images of the senior royals. Camilla went from being a homewrecker to queen as a result of her charitable efforts, wit, and approachable personality. At Westminster Abbey, she will be crowned alongside her husband. "This is a man who has overcome problems and hurdles," said Lacey, the historical advisor to the Netflix series The Crown. "He is loved despite the difficulties he has faced. He is adored for both his merits and his errors. A personal represented monarchy is all about giving the king a rounded appearance, which is what we are receiving."